Okay, welcome back. So it's time for a few JavaScript array exercises. The way that this works, there's two exercises. In both of them, I give you some code. All you need to do is evaluate what happens when this code is run. So here's the first one. Go ahead, take a look, pause the video if you need to, and I'll go over the solution in just a few seconds. Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky. We start by defining a numbers array. It has 5 numbers in it. And then we're printing out something from the numbers array. Numbers bracket numbers.length. So numbers.length in this case is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. So we're going to access numbers bracket 5, which is a problem because the greatest index in this array is actually 4. We start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So numbers 5 doesn't exist. So what we actually get is undefined. And I'll show that to you. Paste this in the console, and we get undefined. Just like if I try to do numbers of 100, that definitely doesn't exist, and I get undefined. So if I do numbers of 5, I get undefined. If I do numbers of 4, I get 88. So that one was a little bit tricky. So here's the second exercise. Pause the video if you need to, evaluate the code, and then we'll go over a solution in just a few moments. So this one looks a little bit scarier. We have nested arrays. So this outer array called friend groups has 3 items, and each one is actually its own array. So this is what we call nested arrays, or a 2-dimensional array, because we're nesting an array inside of another array. So each one is 3 strings long, 3 different friend groups from Harry Potter, and I'm console.logging friend groups, the third item, index of 2. So that's going to retrieve this whole array right here. And then we're finding the first item, index 0, in that array, which is Mooney. So I'm going to copy this into my console and demonstrate that. If I look at friend groups of 2, that's going to give me this last friend group here. And then if I take that and I get the 0 index of that, I get the first item, which is Mooney. So this is pretty common to need to burrow into an array and then another array to have some nested data where we have to access the first layer, friend groups 2, which then gives us this, and then we have to then access that with index 0 to get Mooney out. When we get into some more complicated data structures, like the data that the Facebook API gives us, or the data that comes from our MongoDB database, we'll need to burrow down into nested arrays to access our data. All right, so that's it for these quick exercises.